You have only a couple weeks before Christmas and you wanna buy something for your wife, you wanna get something for your kids, or maybe do something for yourself. How can you earn some extra income you can get the things that you want? I'm gonna share with you how I made $10,000 in just 10 days. And maybe you'll give it a try and do it too. Let's talk about it. What's up guys, it's your boy Sawan Belcher. I'm a full-time real estate investor, and essentially here on our YouTube channel, we talk about how do we use real estate in order to make quick checks, consistent checks, and checks that will come in 3 months to 10 years, okay? Now, it's very important, in my opinion, in whatever business, whatever lane you're in, that you learn real estate investing, because at the end of the day, we're all under a roof and we're all playing the game. Okay, what I mean is you're either controlling the game, like you have the remote control in your hand, you're actively, coming up with combinations, you're actively strategizing about how to get ahead, okay? That's the investor, okay? Or the homeowner, okay? Or you're the renter and you're kind of just going with the flow, right? Whatever the rents are, that's what they are. Whatever happens to me, I'm down for it. Let's just go with the flow, okay? I wanna invite you guys over to the controller seat, okay? I want you guys to be in more control. And in this particular case, I was able to control exactly what I wanted, okay? Now, in this particular moment, we're in a spot in the market where, interest rates are up, okay, which means that values are coming down because it's harder to get money to actually buy. And so, I got a bunch of refinances right now that I'm bringing cash to the table for. So I'm not interested in buying deals for 65%, over 65% loan to value. So I had this seller who I've purchased from before, okay, and he wants to sell, and it's a good deal. It's not like the best deal. It's not like the worst deal. It's a good deal, but it wasn't a deal for me. Instantly, I know that I can make, even though I know I don't want to keep this house, I know I can make money from this house. And so the first step is to find a seller who is willing to give you a good deal, Now, a good deal doesn't mean that it has to be 50% off, 60% off. It doesn't have to be, the cheapest house on the block. It doesn't even have to be the worst house. It just has to be a decent deal, better deals than everybody else can find, okay? Now, in this since we're in the middle of the transition, sellers haven't realized that we're in a dip. Real estate investors see it on the back end that we're in a dip, so they're buying lower, okay? So there's like a disconnect between sellers and buyers at the moment. And so when you're able to find the seller who's kind of like right there in the middle, who understands, but also knows that you're not gonna make the most amount of money off of him, it is a good chance that you'll be able to make some money by wholesaling, okay? Wholesaling is simply a consistent way to make money fast, okay? It just takes a couple weeks. So the first one is just to find a seller who's willing to sell at a good deal. Like I said, not a great one, not a bad one, but at a decent price, okay? At a decent price. And so for this house, I actually flipped the house earlier this year and I sold it for $155,000. This seller was willing to do $70,000. Okay, now I know you guys are thinking, well, you just said it didn't have to be 50% off. So since the market has dipped, okay, when I got that property under contract, rates were still at like 4%, 3%. Okay, so people were able to qualify for more. I looked up a comp that sold recently in the last couple months and it sold for 135. So instead of running my numbers at the 150, I ran them at 135 so I could guarantee that I could move the property, right? Make sense? So don't use comps from a year ago. It's different. It's different right now, okay? So when I did those numbers, I said, man, this deal isn't gonna work for me. You know, it needs $55,000 to $60,000 worth of work. I'm able to grab it for 70 grand. That ain't really enough room for my realtor, for my insurance, for my taxes, for my repair. You know, it's not even enough room if I just put a little bit in it and I tried to refinance out. So what I said was, hey, since it's a good deal, let me just connect with someone else who needs properties more than I do at the moment, right? How can I make money off this deal? So what I end up doing is I reached out to cash buyers in the area. Okay, so cash buyers are typically real estate investors who maybe rent properties or flip properties or build properties, or even business owners who are trying to hedge their bets from taxes, at the end of the year. So I started reaching out to cash buyers, okay? Now I kind of have like a dedicated process to finding these people, but it's not hard. The best way to actually find a cash buyer is just to go to a property manager who manages 200, 500, 1,000 properties and have them give you their list of investors, okay? They're people that they manage properties for, and you just talk to them. At least 10, okay? I got 10 offers in just a couple hours on this property with just pictures. Nobody has seen the property. I think I sent maybe 4 or 5 pictures, okay? I sent 4 or 5 pictures to these people, everybody that I talked to, and everybody, hey, I want it. I don't need to see it. Hey, I want it. I don't need to see it. And so at this point, I started creating a kind of, a bidding frenzy, okay? And I was able to end up getting 83,000. Okay, I was ending to get about 83,000. So I got the property under contract for 70. I got it sold for 83. Now there's a couple ways you can do this deal. Since you got the property under contract with our free purchase agreement on my website, just go over to thisismetakinaction.com, wait there on the screen for just a second, boom, you'll see a link to put in your email address and we'll send you the purchase agreement. You can use that purchase agreement and get it under contract from the seller, okay? And then you guys can use an assignment agreement, okay? Everybody that has access to the course and has access to the drive, there's an assignment agreement in there. You can assign your rights to the contract to the new buyer and the buyer can close on it. Now, the downside to this, your fee is disclosed on the HUD. So on closing day, it shows the seller that you're getting paid, in this case, a $13,000 fee. Dealing with this seller, I noticed that he didn't necessarily want it to be taken advantage of. That's kind of words that sellers are using. I don't want to be taken advantage of. I don't want investors to come in and lowball me, but at the end of the day, we have to make money, right? So I was thinking, well, I can't do an assignment because he's gonna see it. So I gotta do it a different way. I can't do this transaction as an assignment. Well, I was like, well, let me see if my attorney will allow me to do a blind HUD. Okay, a blind HUD, it simply means that the seller only sees the seller side of the HUD. So the seller only sees his numbers. He doesn't see the buyer's numbers. Okay, and my attorney says, hey, we don't like doing that. How about you just double close? So I was like, okay, well, we can double close. A double close means that I purchased the property on one day, okay, and then later on that day or the next day, I sell it to someone else. Okay, so so me and my attorney came up with the fact that we'll do a double close. That way the seller doesn't see how much money I make, okay? I'm still able to buy the deal and make money without having to do any work. But now my new problem is I need $70,000 plus the attorney fee in order to buy the house. So I'm like, dang, okay, I need 70,000 bucks. How do I get $70,000, okay? So what I end up doing, since I had one contract for 70, another one for 83, I started reaching out to those same cash buyers that I was trying to sell the properties to and said, hey, look, got the property sold, right? I have to double close on it, but I need 70,000 bucks. I have it sold for $83,000, so I'm making $13,000. How about if you give me the $70,000, then I'll pay you $2,000, or $2,500 or whatever we need to do. So you can get paid with me to do this deal. And so after calling several people, somebody said, hey, great, I'll wire in the 70,000. You just give me 2,500 bucks of it and bada boom, bada bang. So I make 2,500 bucks, you make $10,000, we're both good. perfect, okay? Now, this was supposed to be like a same day transaction, maybe the next day same transaction, but the buyer ended up extending it for about 2 weeks, and luckily everything worked out smoothly. We bought the property 2 weeks ago, and then on Monday we closed it out. My private money guy was happy with his return. The buyer is happy with his property. And then of course, I walked away with the $10,000 check, okay? This thing is not hard, okay? I ran you through that scenario because it's gonna seem like this is hard because when you're watching us on the video, you're seeing the end result, so we're just talking about it now. But when you're actually going through the steps, there's gonna be things that come up that we didn't talk about in the video, of course, right? So I wanted to bring up this particular scenario and how we handled it, because when you're actually doing things that's hard, you're gonna have to do things that's harder, okay? And at the end of the day, we get paid well to do hard things well, okay? So at the end of the day, if you guys need to learn how to make money in real estate investing, go for wholesaling. Wholesaling is one of the best ways to print money, okay? Wholesaling is one of the best ways to print money in real estate investing without no responsibility. Get paid on every deal to buy a house. I'll take it, okay? Look, we'll see you guys on the next one, and I hope you guys make your next $10,000 checks in 10 days as well. Peace.